Hello, friends. In the series of learning computer organization and design, today we will focus on learning the arithmetic microoperations. So, before starting learning about the concept, let's discuss the agenda. So, we have already covered these three topics in our previous sessions, and today we are focusing on the arithmetic microoperations. Let's have a detailed understanding of the microoperations first, and then we will shift to the arithmetic microoperation. So the idea is that the microoperations are the operations that we perform on the data which is stored on the registers. So this is very important to understand because this will lead the definition of the operations. Any data which is available on the registers, and whenever we perform any kind of operation on the data which is stored in the registers, then we called such operations as the operations. So normally these micro operations are categorized into the four categories. The very first one is the register transfer micro operations, where we learn the bus system designs because we are transferring the data in the form of buses only, right? And we have explored the two areas how we can design the buses, like by using the multiplexers and by making the use of three state buffer. So this thing we have already covered. Today we will focus on the arithmetic microoperations, and in the later part of the sessions we will discuss about various logic microoperations as well as the shift microoperations. So let's start understanding about what are the arithmetic microoperations and how we can design the arithmetic circuit of such microoperations. So this is the basic idea of arithmetic microoperation, that in the arithmetic microoperations, as the name specifies, we can perform some basic arithmetics like addition, subtraction, incrementing or decrementing, right? Similarly, we can also perform some another arithmetic microoperations also, like addition with carry or subtraction with borrow, by transferring the data simply or by loading the data, or many more things. Or it could be like a same value also, means we have also learned that there is a no change kind of condition whenever the same data is being generated, or the condition can be whenever you just want the complement of a data. So these all categories can be part of these arithmetic micro operations. So here I have provided a detailed diagram or tabular form about the various types of micro operations which are coming under the category of arithmetic. So let's start learning in detail about these arithmetic micro operations. So the very first kind of arithmetic microoperation that came into picture is the binary adder. So what is this binary adder first of all? We know that adder means that addition of some numbers, right? So for the adders, we have learned that there are two types of adders. One is the half adder and another one is the full adder. Now, half adder is having the property that it is working on the two inputs, and the full adder is having the property that it works on the three inputs. Two inputs are actually been there, and one is the output of a, or you could say that the previous carry we are considering in case of full adders. So, mostly we will work with the full adders only in case of binary adder. So what will happen in this case? What I need actually. So in case of full adder, I need 2-bit sum plus a previous carry. I have already discussed this point with you. In the binary adder, what we are having is arithmetic sum of two binary numbers of any length, right? So let's take one example that I am having a register A, which is consisting of data of, let's suppose, 4 bits, called it as A0, A1, A2 and A3. Similarly, there is a register B, which is again of 4 bits, having the data B0, B1, B2 and B3 present. So what I want to do, I want to perform the binary addition of these two numbers. So how I can do that is, For that, what I need is I need the use of this full adders here in the circuit, because what the full adder will do, it will provide me the sum, the bitwise sum. Okay, along with that, it will also generate the previous carry. It will always take the previous carry. So in total, 1, 2, and 3 inputs it will take. So this is how I have presented it. So let's suppose the example here is that in the A register, the data stored is 1011, and in the register number B, I am taking any random data. Let's suppose it is 110 and 1. Okay, so how the A naught, B naught, and all these will be described. The value of A naught will be 1, A1 is also 1, A2 is 0, and this A3 is 1, because we always consider the value like this: A naught, A1, A2, and A3, right? Similarly, is for this case, the value of B naught is 1, B1 is 0, and rest B2 and B3 are 1, 1. So right now in this case, this previous carry is 0. I don't have any carry bin there, right? So I am taking this carry as an input carry bin 0. So when I will start addition of these 1 plus 1 plus 0, I will get 0 as a sum and 1 as a carry, right? So again, in this full adder also, for the condition of full adder, I need three inputs. I am having those: 0 plus 1 plus 1. Again, 1 plus 1 is 0 and 1 is carry, right? So furthermore, I am again having three input values, so I need a full adder here. 1 plus 0 plus 1 again will lead me 0 as in sum and 1 as a carry. So for these last two, I am having three ones: 1 plus 1, 0, 0 plus 1, 1, and 1 as a carry, which is nothing but the output carry. So this is how this entire binary adder will work. This Cout is also called as the input carry. So this is very simple architecture of design of, you could say, that the binary adder. You can pick any example, and depending upon the number of bits or the size of the resistors we are using, accordingly I will have to work with these full adders. Okay, so let's proceed ahead. So this is a little bit complex kind of structure. Now in this arithmetic circuit, what I am able to do is I am able to perform two functions together: adder and subtraction. So how I am able to do this is, let's understand that also. In case of binary addition and subtraction, it means that I am able to perform the sum as well as the subtraction within the one circuit only. So if I am able to perform this thing in the one circuit, it means that I must be having some control input also, which will provide me the control over whether I have to perform the addition or I have to go with the subtraction. So in this case of binary adder and subtractor, our this control input is nothing but the mode bit. Okay, so it simply depicts that under which mode you have to work, whether you want to work in addition mode or you want to work in the subtraction mode. So how it will be determined? If the value of mode is equals to 0, if this mode bit has the value 0, it will perform simple addition. If it is having the value 1, it will perform the subtraction, binary subtraction. So let's understand how this entire architecture will be designed. So in this case, again, addition, if I take the again data in the A register, which is like A naught, A1, A2, and A3. Similarly, for B register, the data is like B3. The bits are B3, B2, B1, and B naught. So idea is that whether I am performing addition or the subtraction. So this A naught, B naught, A naught, A1, A2, and A3 will remain the same, right? So directly, this input of A naught, A1, A2, and A3 is going into this full adder, because I need not to manipulate this. This will remain the same. But in case of subtraction, I need to look at these values, because we know that in case of subtraction, we sometimes use it like this: the complemented value, 2's complement of the second number I need to take, right? So for that, I need to implement a logic here. So for this logic, what I am doing is, for this input, I am having one input from this mode bit and another from this the B naught value or the B resistor only. Okay. So I am using XOR gate here to depict this output. So how this entire circuit will operate? So let's again consider the same example. I'm considering the same one only, where the A resistor is having the value 1011 and B is having the value 1101, and I need to perform the addition as well as the subtraction. So in case of subtraction, I will be letting you know about the things. This mode bit will be equals to 1. It means that this C in value is C0 value is equals to 1. Along with that, this M value will also be equals to 1 in case of subtraction, right? So what is the value present at A0 and A1 on this? It is 1, 0, 1, 1, and in this case it is 1, 1, 0, and 1, right? So let's perform the things. First of all, I am getting 1 here and 1 XOR with 1. So what is the case of 1 XOR with 1? For the similar value getting XOR in case of 1, what I will get is 0. So if I have to design A XOR B here, so for 0, 0, the output will be 0. For 1, 0 or 0, 1, the output will be 1, 1. In case of 0, 0, the output will be 0 in case of XOR gate, right? So that's why for 1 XOR with 1, I will get 0. So 0 plus 1 plus 1, 0 as a sum and 1 as a carry. Okay, so let's proceed ahead. This is 1 as an input. 0 and 1 will lead nothing but 1. Actually, it is doing nothing but the complement term. See, this is 1 here. In case of subtraction, what I want? Complement of that. So this is what is this? The 1's complement is actually gone. This is 0 value here. So what I want? In case of subtraction, the complement here. So this is what is the complemented value. Ultimately, the logic is this. Same as for this case, 0. Here I am having two ones. Again, I will get 0. So let's proceed with this. 1 plus 0. 1 plus 1 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. But 1 is a carry value. 0, 0, 1 is 1 as a sum and 0 as a carry, right? So for the last part, this 1, this is 1, 1. XOR will do this. 0 plus 1 plus 0 will 1 and 0 as a carry. So this will be the ultimate result of this entire case. Same is the case when I will take the mode bit equals to 0. So in that case, what will happen? I will always be having the value 0 here, right? So whatsoever the input I am providing, and here the C naught will also become 0. So accordingly, I will determine the whether the sum is coming exactly as it has been desired or not. So this is how I can perform binary addition and subtraction. Now let's shift to the last topic, which is very important to understand. It is about the arithmetic circuit. This particular circuit, first of all, this is a function table which is depicting that certain micro operations are to be performed in a one circuit. Okay, so what the idea is that I will be using one circuit, and in that one circuit only I would try to perform all these operations. So this is the idea. So what is the operation here? Either I want to perform only addition or addition with carry, subtraction with borrow, subtraction only. I simply want to transfer the data. Remember I said no change can also be part of arithmetic circuit. Same here also I am getting a no change. Just because I have to provide all the values in this case, like here how we are taking the result is that we are only having two input variables. Okay, so for that we are considering only these two selection lines, but this is the C in means any previous output carry. Now if this is 0, 0, the previous output carry can be 0 or 1. So that's why for these two cases, the value is 0 and 1. I can't determine at this point of time now which value I am getting. Similarly, for this 0 and 1, this C in can be either 0 or 1. Same is for the next, for 1, 0, the C in can be 0 or 1 as well. Similarly is for this. For this 1, 1, the C in can be 0 or 1. So what actually I want to do here is I will provide some sort of input. So that input will be coming like this: B complement, B complement, 0, 0, and 1, 1. Now, why I am providing this kind of input here? Just because I want any specific result from the output, right? So, how the output I am looking for? I want that A should be directly added to B. So in this case, the A will be directly added to B. In this case, also, what I am going to do is either I can perform some operations again if I am using A and B only as a two resistors. So either I can perform addition or subtraction. Ultimately, I am doing only this thing, either addition or subtraction kind of thing, or with some complemented value. So it means that always the data will be processed on this B resistor only. See, I am only changing the values of B only. Sometimes I am using it, sometimes I am not. The A will remain same throughout. So I need not to provide anything as an input in case of A. So what I may be looking for in case of B is simply B or B's complement, or I don't need B at all. I need simply 0 as an input, or I can have only 1 as an input. So what I did here is for these values of C in being 0 and 1, I took, okay, let's take B as an input here. For these next two values of the possible combinations of 0 1, C in is can be 0 and 1 again. So I am saying, okay, let's try it with this complement method and then observe what I can get as an output. Okay, similar is for this 0 and for this 1 case. So let's understand in detail about how this entire uh, arithmetic circuits function table can lead me for the output of, or you could say that for the circuit diagram. Let's understand that. So this is the full-fledged circuit diagram. So first thing I need to understand here is that basically there are only four operations being there. Okay. So basically I am only using a combination of only these four bits like 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Means I am having only two selection lines here. That's why from this only particular figure only I have determined that the value of S0 and S1 is there. So S0, S1 is there. Accordingly, I am having a maximum of four operations that I need to perform. Okay. So what are those four operations? That again, I will let you know. So before that, as I am performing the addition only and subtraction also in the form of complemented form, right? So I need only to work with these full adders. So what is the property of a full adder? It always demands three inputs. Okay, so this is the output carry, this is the input carry, this is the output carry, this is the sum that I am getting as a resultant. So if this is the output carry, then definitely it will proceed ahead also to satisfy the property of this full adder that it needs three input values. So again, we are not making any changes in this A0, A1, A2 and A3. So A0, A1, A2 and A3 are directly going as an input to the full adder. The only thing we need to change is this B0, means the second bit output, right? So how I can do that is, if you can see here, for this 0, 0, it means that this is the 0th pin of the multiplexer, mux pin. For 0, 1, I could say this is the first pin of multiplexer. 1, 0 is the second pin of multiplexer and this is the third pin of multiplexer. So accordingly, as I'm saying, at the 0th pin, only B will be selected. So let's understand that. So on the 0th pin, what I am having is directly the B0 value. Here also the B's value B1, B2, B3, right? Similarly is for the next. For the next point, what I am having is for the first pin, I will be selecting the complemented value. So let's select that. So it will be like B naught's complement. That's why we are inverting it here. That will come here at this first pin. Similarly, what we are expecting at the second pin? At the second pin, we are expecting the 0, 0 value, and the third pin, we are expecting 1, 1. So similarly, what we did is I took one value with the name 0, or it could be 1 also, depending upon my how I want to design the circuit. Okay, nothing like hard and fast rule. So for the, as it has been given in the diagram, I have taken 0. So 0 would be attached to the second number pin of all the multiplexers, and its complemented value will be 1. So that is attached to the third input value. So ultimately, this entire circuitry, this entire thing is leading me for this kind of result. You can verify it on the table and you will get that. So this is how this entire circuit of arithmetic, a circuit will be arithmetic logic unit, you could arithmetic micro operations will be designed. I hope that you have understood today's lecture. Even if you are having any doubt, you can ask your doubts here. Thank you so much for joining the session.